Thibaut Courtois and Kevin De Bruyne are among the best players in the world. And to make matters interesting, did you know they're also teammates for the Belgian national team? Not too long ago, though, there was trouble in paradise. That's right, folks. The face of the Premier League and the captain of his national side, KDB, was involved in a major controversy with his fellow teammate and Real Madrid goalkeeper, Courtois. It was a scandal that changed the trajectory of their careers, costing them their personal relationship and the club billions of pounds and dozens of trophies. So, without further ado, let's kick in. Cause this is a story for the ages and a scandal that potentially changed the course of footballing history. Our story begins back in 2014 in London when Chelsea still employed De Bruyne, a special prospect they'd signed from the Bundesliga, and had Thibaut Courtois on their payroll, but he was out on loan to Atleti. Now, the thing is, football clubs do considerable background checks on players before signing them. Still, personal relationships don't generally create any hindrances in transfers. So, when Chelsea signed Kevin De Bruyne, he was with his girlfriend Caroline Lignit for quite some time. What the club didn't know was that their relationship was a little rocky. It wasn't public knowledge at the time, so you can't blame Chelsea for signing one of the most promising midfielders of the past decade. It didn't take time for things to go south as Lignit decided to take what seemed like a harmless trip to sunny Spain. Again, you can't blame her for doing so. After all, the poor girl was sick of the disgusting weather in England. That continuous rain in London can drive just about anyone crazy, especially when things at home aren't going great either. In fact, De Bruyne supported her decision to take the trip, thinking what could possibly go wrong. Everything, Kevin, everything could go wrong. Reflecting back on the trip, Caroline maintained that Kevin wanted her to take the solo trip, thinking it was a good idea. But unfortunately for KDB, he had no idea about the repercussions of letting his partner leave for Spain that summer. On her trip, Caroline ran into another Belgian footballer. Yep, you guessed it, Courtois. And while the details of how they met are a little unclear, it's not exactly a surprise. Lignit was pretty well known in footballing circles due to her relationship with De Bruyne. TBO, though, had no plans of letting an opportunity like this slide. So what if she's a girlfriend of his teammate? He could have been the perfect gentleman and turned her down. But nope, he wanted a piece of that. And De Bruyne was out of the picture. Gone. For what it's worth, Caroline definitely believes that Thibaut was a perfect gentleman, that evening at least. He cooked her a delicious dinner, made her feel seen and heard, basically being the perfect emotional partner, something that De Bruyne hadn't given her in 3 years. Her words, not mine, folks, cause Lignit really said it herself. Courtois had given to her in one night what KDB couldn't in 3. Oh my goodness, imagine saying this to a footballer. No wonder the relationship between the two stars was immediately fractured. Nothing against Kevin, but once TBO entered the chat, he never stood a chance. Think about it for a minute. TBO's like a foot taller than De Bruyne. He's also not a ginger and doesn't come across as a crybaby either. KDB, on the other hand, well, let's not get into that. So, as soon as Caroline boarded that flight to Spain, Kevin should have known it was all over, because if you ain't treating your girl right, someone else definitely will. That's right, folks. While Caroline deserves the blame for cheating on De Bruyne, the fact is, he's not exactly a saint either. KDB was the reason the relationship was on the rocks, because he cheated on her first, and that, too, with her best friend. That changes the perception of the whole love triangle, doesn't it? Add to that how Caroline revealed her hands were tied because De Bruyne's parents threatened legal action when she found out about the affair. Despite all that, Caroline forgave De Bruyne and was ready to let it all go. But this man loves shooting himself in the foot. The midfielder exposed his ex-girlfriend, revealing how she cheated on him while conveniently leaving out the part where he did the same first. That's why Lignit decided enough is enough. She burned Kevin with the famous line of how Courtois had given her something that he couldn't in many years and exposed his squeaky clean image. Of course, that line has been used out of context many times against KDB, but forgive us if we don't have a lot of sympathy for De Bruyne. How can you cheat on your girlfriend with her best friend? Unfortunately, this controversy would only escalate and had major repercussions on the entire footballing era of the 2010s, changing Chelsea's fortunes dramatically. If you find yourself questioning how and why, don't worry, I got you covered. The two Belgian players weren't rated as highly back then as they are today, I agree, but can you imagine if the pair had stuck to the London side throughout the last decade? For context, De Bruyne's transfer to Manchester City turned them into an unstoppable machine, one that has dominated the league for a decade. Meanwhile, Courtois has gone on to become a crucial part of the Real Madrid backline, helping them win multiple trophies, including the CL. Chelsea haven't done too badly, but they had two of the biggest names in the 2010s at their disposal and they let it slip. The sad part is, through no fault of their own. It's a known fact that KDB was emotionally broken when he found out about the incident. It became one of the major reasons behind his departure from Chelsea. I can't help but wonder what could have happened if KDB and Thibaut remained with Chelsea. It doesn't take a genius to figure out they hadn't been able to replace those two properly. Billions of pounds and dozens of players later, Chelsea still doesn't have a set goalkeeper, and any team in the world would improve with a master playmaker like De Bruyne. Now, he wasn't at his best for Chelsea during his first stint in the Prem, but things could have been much different had his girlfriend not taken the trip to Madrid. So, fellas, the lesson from this is clear as day. You gotta respect your partner. It doesn't matter if you earn millions. If you don't put enough effort in your relationship, it's gonna come back to bite you. Fortunately for Belgium, Courtois and De Bruyne fixed their differences. As per a source from the Belgian dressing room, they even laugh about the whole incident now. Kinda weird, but whatever floats their boat. The latest on the matter was De Bruyne's goal against Courtois in the 2023 Champions League semi-final. Even if the hatch has been buried, that's the sweetest goal of KDB's life. No, not just because it allowed City to take the revenge over Real Madrid and win the Champions League, but because he had a score to settle too. That's a wrap. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two about how to treat your partner no matter how rich you are. Also, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Toodles!